everyone, I'm Erin with Five Parks Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Today's class is going to be a short and sweet strength building class for swimmers. Just a quick shout out to the Colorado Mesa University Mavericks women's and men's swimming and diving team. So I hope you enjoy this class. We are going to get right into it. A lot of core strengthening and of course shoulder and upper back and quads. So let's start out today in a tabletop position. We're going to take 3 cat-cows just to warm up the spine. So as you breathe in, drop your belly, lift the crown of your head and your tailbone, and as you breathe out, round your spine. 2 more. Breathe in. Cow pose, breathe out, cat pose. 1 more. And breathe out. Come back to a neutral tabletop position so your gaze is at the floor, your neck is nice and long. Tuck all 10 toes under, lift your knees up off the mat to hover, and hold here for 10, 9, 8. 3, 2, 1. Place your knees back on the floor. Take the tops of your feet flat to the floor. Extend your right arm forward and your left leg back. Hold here for spinal balance. Take a deep breath in here. As you breathe out, can you bring your elbow and touch your knee? Round your spine. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out to round. And one more time, extend, round, elbow to knee. Extend back to spinal balance. For a quad stretch, bend your left leg, reach your right hand around for the inside of your foot, take hold of your foot, and then start to arch your spine, kick your foot into your hand, stretch your quads, stretch the front of your body, open up your throat and neck, reach the crown of your head to the top of the ceiling, and release back to tabletop position. Let's switch sides. So reach your left arm forward and your right leg back. Breathe in here. As you breathe out, round your spine, connect your elbow to your knee. For 3, extend, round. For 2, and 1. Come back to spinal balance. For the quadriceps stretch, bend your right leg, take hold of the inside of your foot with your left hand, and then start to kick your foot into your hand. Open the front of your body. It's called swan pose. Lift the crown of your head. Return to spinal balance. Return to tabletop position. And from tabletop position, keep your hips right where they are. Lower your forearms down to the floor. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Keep your wrists right in line with your elbows. And then walk your feet back so you're in forearm plank. So hold here in forearm plank, pressing your heels back, lifting up out of your shoulders. And then start to dip one knee at a time. So right knee, left, right, left. Keep going. This is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to forearm plank, and then one hand at a time, press up to a plank position and back to downward facing dog. Hold downward facing dog for 3 breaths. So breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And you can find movement here, pedaling your legs. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more time. Press both heels down in the direction of the floor.
Walk both feet up 1 footstep and together. So your toes are touching, there's a little space between your heels. Bring your right hand more toward the center of your mat, and then reach your left hand toward your right ankle or calf, and look out underneath your right shoulder. Strengthening your arms, twisting your spine, and getting flexibility in your hamstrings. And then come back to center. Bring your left hand more to the center of your mat. Reach your right hand toward your left ankle, calf, or whatever you can reach. Look out underneath your left shoulder. Hold here. And then come back to a nice long downward facing dog. So step your feet back so they're at hip distance apart. Let your head dangle. You're looking back toward the back of your heels. Lift your right leg up. Open your hip and bend your leg so you get a nice stretch for your hip flexor. Now you're going to straighten your leg, level out your hips, and now you're going to bring your knee to your nose, just like we did earlier. Crunch for 3. Extend, 3-legged dog for 2. Crunch and round. Extend, crunch and round. Knee to nose. Extend. Now you're going to bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So you're in a wide-legged low lunge. Release your back knee to the floor. Lift up through the crown of your head. And then if it's accessible to you, you can come down onto your forearms or you can stay up on your hands. So you're getting a nice wide-legged hip stretch. One more breath here. All right, if you're not already, come back up onto your hands, tuck your back toes under, lift your knee. What you're gonna do from here is you're gonna come into a side plank. So you're going to roll onto your left hand. You're gonna bring your right foot to meet your left foot, roll to the side and lift your right arm up. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to high plank and back to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your left leg up, open your hip, and bend your leg. Feel that stretch in the front of your left leg and your right inner thigh, and the strength building in your shoulders. Level out your hips, straighten your left leg 3 times knee to nose. So round, crunch in for 3, 2, 1. Come back to 3-legged dog and prepare for wide-legged low lunge. So now you're going to place your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Place your back knee on the floor. Hands on the floor. Reach up through the crown of your head so you have a nice long spine. And then if it's accessible to you, you can come down onto your forearms or you can stay up onto your hands. Wide-legged low lunge. One more breath here. If you're not already, come back up onto your hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift your knee. Now remember, we're moving from here to side plank pose. So you're gonna roll onto your right hand, bring your left foot to meet your right, roll to the right, lift your left arm up and hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, come back to high plank. Press back to downward facing dog. From here, you're gonna bring both feet to the outside of both hands. So you can walk your feet forward. We're coming into a low froggy squat. It's called malasana in yoga. Bring your hands to your heart. Connect your elbows towards your knees. If you can't get your hips that low, you can come up higher. You can rest your hands on your knees, whatever is accessible to you. We're gonna do a little bit of strengthening here for the hips and the low back. So what you're gonna do is keep your elbows connected to your knees. You're gonna lift your hips just to the height of your knees. Look down at your mat and lower for 10. Lift and lower for 9, 8, 5, halfway there. 4, just building power in the quads and the flexibility in the hips. It's such a good combo. 2 and 1. All right, from here, take your hands to the mat and we're gonna come into a wide-legged low dangle. So you're just gonna straighten your legs. You don't need to straighten them all the way. Release the crown of your head toward the floor and then just start to sway side to side. Just nice release for your lower back. All right, place your hands at shoulder distance apart. Spread your fingers nice and wide. You're looking right down at your hands. And then step your feet back to high plank position. And just like we did in that kneeling tabletop position, we're just gonna start to dip the knees. So one at a time. So 10, 9, 8. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now come back to plank. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Take the tops of your feet flat to the floor. As you breathe in, lift your chest up off the floor. Hold here. This is called Cobra Pose in yoga. Keep your neck nice and long. Lift your hands up off the floor and hold. Place your hands back on the floor. Press back to extended child's pose, so bring your knees wide, toes to touch, forehead toward your mat or the floor. Hold here. Make your way back onto your stomach. So legs are right in line with your hips. Bring your arms out to capital T, palms face down, fingers spread wide. Bring your feet to about mat distance apart, a little bit wider than your hips. Lift everything up. Hold here. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press back child's pose. Take 2 breaths here. Come back up onto your stomach. Feet in line with your hips. Bring your arms straight out in front of you. Palms face down, fingers spread nice and wide, forehead on the floor. Lift everything up off the floor. Draw your elbows back so they're back by your ribs. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and release for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shoulders underneath, or hands underneath your shoulders. Child's pose, 2 breaths. Come back up onto your stomach. Feet in line with your hips. Arms straight and out in front, just like they were. Palms spread wide, or fingers spread wide, palms on the floor. Lift everything up. Okay, and now start to flutter your arms and your legs. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press back, child's pose for 2 breaths. Stay right here with your hips. Slide your left arm underneath your right. Stretch your shoulder. Switch sides, extend your left arm long, slide your right arm underneath your left. Hold here. Extend your right arm long. One more breath in child's pose. Walk your hands back up, cross over your ankles, and make your way onto your back. Keep your legs bent, feet flat to the floor. We're just gonna take one bridge pose to stretch out the front of the body since we just did all that work on the back of the body. Bring your heels in, palms face down, arms alongside the body, lift your hips up, and if you want to take a chest expansion, you're going to interlace your fingers underneath your hips, roll onto the outer edge of your shoulders, lift a little bit higher, keep your chin away from your chest, and hold here. Last breath in. As you exhale, release. Draw your knees into your chest. Final stretch is happy baby, so separate your knees and feet. You can hold on to your thighs, calves, toes, inner outer edges of your feet. And then rock side to side. This is a little massage for your spine and your low back. For all that work we did on our back muscles. Draw your knees back into your chest. One breath here. And release to Shavasana. Legs are long, feet fall open, arms alongside your body, palms face up, fingers relaxed. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Come back to your natural rhythm of breathing. Stay in Shavasana, continue to enjoy this pose if you have the time and the space. Just completely relax and restore and stay in stillness. If you're ready to move on, you can start to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Roll your wrists and your ankles. feet together, point your toes, reach your arms up overhead for a full body stretch. And roll onto your side, cradling your head and your arm, pulling your knees into your chest. Just a nice slow return to seated. So when you're ready, you can press onto your hands, come all the way up to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me for this class today. Swim hard, swim fast, swim strong. And today as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to yours, namaste.